it's taken me several days to decide whether or not I even wanted to talk about this with you, but I decided I should, because one of the things I've done over the years is I put it all out there. So let's just get right into it. I went away for a weekend, left on a Friday, came back on a Sunday night, left the tanks under the care of somebody very competent that I trust. All the tanks did fine, but this tank here, for some reason that I haven't quite figured out, and maybe you can help me with this, every fish in this tank died while I was gone. All the other tanks are good. The African cichlids, the South and Central Americans, the planted tank, the 90-gallon, red tear, everybody else is okay. But for some reason, every single fish in this aquarium was dead when I came home from my trip. They were fine when I left. They were fine when they were fed on Saturday. And when she came down to feed them on Sunday, every fish was dead. I haven't been able to figure it out. I was quarantining a fish in here that I just picked up, the Starry Night, and I just can't imagine what that fish could have brought to the aquarium that would have wiped out an entire aquarium. The snails, there's snails in here, they're okay. The plants are okay, so it wasn't some massive poisoning that occurred. At the same time, there are things that can affect fish but don't affect plants and don't affect snails. So did I import a virus with a fish that I had in 30 days of quarantine, the Starry Night? I've never seen a virus that would have taken out an entire tank that quickly. And I am going to go back to the fish store and ask them if they had some kind of a breakout in the aquarium where I bought that fish, where I took the fish from. I'm going to ask them have they had any kind of a horrible virus there. But it didn't seem like that. It seemed more like it might have been something like maybe there was a surge in heat. I had one heater in here that wasn't adjusting when I would push the adjust control. It didn't adjust, but the tank was staying at 80 and the heater was off. So it seemed like it wasn't a problem, but maybe that heater surged, maybe it short-circuited and ran a current through the tank, something that the fish couldn't take but the snails could tolerate. I don't know. I've tested it, right? I've tested it using these strips. These are these aquarium co-op strips that I use. There's no ammonia. Everything else is normal, the nitrite, the nitrate. So I didn't test it right when I came home, because after having dead fish in it, it would naturally have some ammonia. But I removed all the dead fish. I had like 4 coolie loaches, about a dozen plecos, the Starry Night, my eel was in there. So I removed all the fish. I'm not going to bother showing you pictures of those fish. It was disgusting. They had white fuzz growing on them. I mean, it was just a dumpster fire. But I took them all out, pulled out a lot of the water, took out the decor, cleaned it, refilled it, and now I have a pleco in here as a sort of a test fish to see if there's something even, something lingering that's toxic. I'm probably going to run another, maybe an internal filter with some charcoal in it to pull out anything that might be in there, maybe some metals got in there, right? Some other types of chemicals but the pleco that I put in there after I did the cleaning seems to be doing fine. So I'm thinking it was a momentary surge of something, either something electrical or a high heat situation that sort of peaked and then went back down, something like that. I'm positive it's not something that the person watching my fish did, because why would it be the case here and all the other tanks are absolutely perfect? So at any rate, this tank is now just snails and plants and one test pleco. Fingers crossed I can bring this tank back. I still want to get a starry night. I still want to replace that eel. Definitely like the coolie loaches. I kind of wish I'd transferred the eel to the 90 gallon, and I wish I'd put those coolie loaches in the planted 55, but you know, before I put the starry night in there. But you know, hindsight's always 20/20. I don't think I've ever experienced, even with Colomaris, I've never experienced a complete and total wipeout of an entire tank. So share your thoughts, ideas below. I'm at a loss. I can't figure out what it might have been. I've taken out the heater that I thought might have been the culprit and threw it in the trash. It wasn't adjusting anyway. It might have been this heater. So when I plug this one in, I'm going to watch it very carefully and you know, monitor the temperature very closely. I don't know. I didn't feel any electrical current. You know, I put my hand in there, but maybe a current is something not strong enough to impact me, but maybe strong enough to impact the fish. I don't know. I don't know. If you've had electricity in your tanks, maybe you can share light, you know, share some light on that. But the good news, the other tanks are fine. It was probably some of the worst news I could come back to after a short business trip. Worst news would have been that it was the 210. I mean, I hate to lose any fish, and you know, I love that eel, and I was really looking forward to that starry night growing up. Worst news would have been losing my 300 gallon, my 90, my planted tank, my 210. That would have been very devastating. So, you know, thank goodness that didn't happen. Okay, so there you have it. It's all out there. I'm going to restock this tank, or maybe leave it as a quarantine tank for the time being, watching that pleco and see how he does. And if he survives in here and does okay, I'll start slowly introducing some fish back into the tank and keep a close eye on it. I'm thinking it might have been electrical. I will add some activated carbon and pull out anything else that might be in there, whether it be metals or any other toxins that might be in there. So thank you for watching. Not the most uplifting video, but certainly worth talking about. Don't know if you ever had a complete wipeout of a tank. If you did, share it below. That's something I've experienced in the past, and something I hope to never experience again. But we keep these little creatures in glass boxes, and sometimes it doesn't take a lot for the balance to go off sometimes. Obviously, something went off very badly on this tank. Okay, my friends, we'll talk about this and a whole lot more on Saturday at 11 a.m. Central at the Cichlids Coffee live stream. That's a great group of fish keepers get together for an hour, talk about everything related to fish, from food to filters to lights to everything. If you'd like to support the channel and the content on this channel, certainly consider becoming a Patreon monthly supporter. Details are under the video. Starts for as little as $3 a month, and as I like to say, helps out in more ways than you know. Thank you, my friends. See you again soon with some better news. I hope. Thank you, friends. Bye-bye.